Welcome to another episode of Becoming an Online Sales Queen. I've titled this one, Make Your Business Mum Friendly and Still Be Super Successful. So are you maybe wanting to have your first baby, but you're feeling constrained by your business model, or maybe thinking that your business isn't set up for you to become a mum? Or maybe are you already a mum and struggling to balance your mum life with CEO life? In this episode today, I'm joined by the incredible Rhiannon of Garnet PR. She is a superstar PR and visibility expert. She is my own PR agency and one of my incredible mastermind students. And Rhiannon, I'm going to get you to introduce yourself because you will just do so much of a better job than I will. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about you?
Oh, I don't know. You've done an amazing job there, Rach. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm Rhiannon and I run Garnet PR. So we are a boutique PR agency supporting female entrepreneurs to get powerfully visible, to harness the power of the press and create that next level credibility, authority, expert status, take things to that next level so that you're really standing out from the crowd online. So we help incredible female entrepreneurs all around the world to do that, including yourself, Rach. And you are like a star client of mine because I'm sure we'll come on to talk about it, but you are like the queen of leveraging your PR results. And it makes me so happy. So we do that. And then I'm also a business mentor and visibility coach for female entrepreneurs. So we serve ladies at all levels of their journey. So if you're not quite ready to invest in an agency to do your PR for you, like I'll help you to get PR ready and help you to be seen and to show up and shine and to really kind of, get the confidence to put yourself out there and start using PR. So all things PR, I am your girl. But Rach, you introduced me so beautifully. So thank you so much.
Well, I think it helps that I've been one of your clients, so
Yeah.
I know how great you are at helping people come out of their shell, become confident about their message, and like really speak into the power of who they are. Because I think sometimes PR is misconstrued as being that thing that's only for the big boys.
Uh-huh.
It's only for when you've already built a hyper successful business. But you helped me to grow, and every time I share those publications and those amazing titles that you got me in, I know that other people are like looking at that and going, oh, I wish I had those.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I was doing an event with two other ladies and we both had our introduction slide at the beginning, and they said, Rach, we're not going to ask you to take it out, but you just look so much more credible when we're all introducing ourselves because of those publications. So I was like, well, I'm glad you're not going to ask me to take them out because I spent a lot of time and energy and money
Yeah,
invested in working with you to get those,
of course.
So they've definitely helped me to build my audience, build my credibility, and that's all down to you. So I know how much of a genius you are at it, but I wanted to officially say congratulations because you are expecting your first baby.
I am. Very exciting.
Very exciting. And so in this episode, I really wanted to help all the girls out there who feel like maybe running a business and being a mum is hard
Mm-hmm.
and that maybe it limits your success. And so obviously I've invited you to join me so that we can unpick and unpack what we've just done for
Mm-hmm.
your business. So we've successfully redesigned and re-strategized your business model so that you can have a chilled out maternity period and your business is still operating.
Yeah.
So yeah, should we start by you just explaining like how you felt in the lead up to finding out that you're going to be a mum for the first time, knowing that you already had like loads of clients and a really successful business? How did you actually feel knowing that you were going to have to juggle those two things?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm more than happy to kind of share my story and how I got here. We should probably put like a trigger warning in that I will mention miscarriage just a little bit. So this all started, gosh, when did we start working on this? Like we've been working together for maybe 18 months, 2 years on this. It's a long
Yeah,
time.
it's going to
So
be about that.
yeah, it sort of starts quite a long time ago. So we, my husband and I wanted to have a baby. So we've been working on that for a little while now. And I first found out I was pregnant in 2023. I had to think about what year it was then. 2023. And to be honest, it happened a lot quicker than we were expecting. And the first feeling was panic because the business was not set up. Like, we were not expecting it to happen as quickly as it did. So the business was not set up for impending parenthood. It was, I was just super stressed about the volume of clients that I had. I was having team like problems at the time. It was really challenging. I had challenging clients. There was just so many things that were actually feeling. And I know you talked about, finding the balance between mum life and CEO life. I was not in a place where that was going to happen. Like, I had a very like non-existent balance at that point in time for a good few months. But it was a bit of a wake-up call that something needed to change, because actually the stress levels were so high. And I think that was probably part of that pregnancy not working out. So,
Yeah.
But what it did do was actually really open my eyes to things needing to change, and that the business not being in a place that was really fulfilling me anymore in the structure that it had, and really made me sit down and think, what do I want from A, life, but B, from business, and how can these two things intertwine? And that's where we really like ramped up our work together, wasn't it? Because I was like, well, obviously, who am I going to come to? Like, I'm already working with you. I think I was in your membership at that point, and we'd done a few like one-to-one power hours and things. But it was at that point that we really sort of ramped things up. And I think we did like a half VIP day or something. And we've just identified all of the things that we could start working on. And it has been a bit of a process for various personal reasons on my side. But last year, like, we went all in because we were kind of hoping that third time lucky might work out for us. And it has, which is very exciting. So recording this in January, I'm due in March, which is brilliant. So last year I joined your mastermind with the sole focus of, let's take all the work that we've done to streamline the business, to rework the offer suites, to, we basically burn it all to the ground. Like, no one will probably know from the outside because this was all behind the scenes stuff. But I got rid of most of my team. Like, we've got a very lean team now. We, like your favorite thing, simplification. We simplified everything. You're like this simplification angel on my shoulder where I'm like, Rach, what do you think about this? And you're like, overcomplicating it. And so this happens all the time, right? So we stripped everything back, and it was really that kind of that moment of realization where I was like, I can't have all of these things that I want to have with the structure that I've got right now. So that feeling of like panic and confusion and a little bit of resentment as well, because like, if you feel like your business is actually putting that much pressure on you and isn't set up in a way to give you the things you want out of life, that really does breed a bit of resentment.
It makes you feel trapped as well, doesn't it? Like, you feel like the walls are closing in.
Yeah. And there was just nowhere really, like, I couldn't see a way through it. And so that's sort of where you came in and helped me to navigate that. So that sort of, I guess, maybe sets the scene for us.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's lots of people that will be listening to this that have felt like, the pressure of business, maybe the resentment that they want to achieve other things in life, but the business that they've built is keeping them small, keeping them stuck, keeping them in a place where they feel, like shackled, that they can't really do what they want to do. So I'm sure this will resonate with loads and loads and loads of people who are either mums already or want to become mums like you. Do you hear any of your clients talking about like that sort of feeling in their own business as well? Like, do you hear this a lot?
It's something that, do you know what, mums have not really been like a key audience of mine. I've had a lot of mums that I've worked with, but generally people tend to come to me to basically what I wanted from you, like to be able to make work feel easier, to help their business to grow, but not in a way that it burns them out and sucks their soul, and having experienced burnout myself at the beginning of COVID and, ended up in hospital with that, it was something I swore I'd never go back to. And that is where I'm such a strong believer in the power of like PR and strategic visibility. Instead of like selling your soul on social media every second of the day, there is an easier way. And there is, like, social will always be an incredible tool that we can use, but it should be a part of your visibility strategy instead of everything, because it can be really draining for a lot of people. So, and what I see more, and I certainly feel a little bit like this, which hopefully won't come across as big-headed, but like a little bit of a victim of your own success. Like, you want growth, you work really hard to get it, you do all the right things, you put yourself out there, you become known, like, and then your business takes off. and then you grow your team. And with that, your outgoings increase. So then you're sort of in a next level of like challenges. And it's fantastic because you're experiencing more success. But with that comes those challenges. And then, you know, like you've said, when you want other things out of life as well, sometimes you have to reevaluate. So what I have found is that a lot of women who come to me are feeling like they just want another way. They want to be able to have their visibility work really hard for them in the background so that they're not doing all, you know, burning themselves out or feeling super stressed, so that they can have that mum, you know, mum CEO. I loved how you positioned that, mum life and CEO life. They can find that sort of harmony between the two. They get to be both. They get to have it all. And it's very similar. Yeah. Like, it's interesting to have helped people in that situation with very much the PR and visibility side of things and the business mentorship, and then to be in it myself and having this toolkit and being able to help other people. I think sometimes it's quite different to being able to see it for yourself in your own business, which is where mentorship comes in like so powerfully. Because sometimes you just can't see the wood for the trees, can you?
Absolutely. And like when I had, for anyone who doesn't know, I've got one child. He is 10, just about to be 11. And I had him when I was in corporate. And
Yeah.
so it was a completely different, you know, scenario, but very similar in that I was a victim of my own success. I wanted promotion. I'd been promoted every year. I got to very senior leadership, had a big team. I was traveling away from home all the time, staying in hotels. And yet I had this 1-year-old who, if he fell over in the park, he'd run to daddy. If he wanted something, he'd run to daddy, wouldn't run to me. And that started to really hurt because it was like I was a stranger in my own family, because for like 3 or 4 days a week, I wasn't there. And so I had that reflection of like, shit, what have I built? Like, I've built this life that I thought I wanted, where I'm in the boardroom, you know, like doing a big girl job, you know, like, I'm really responsible. And yet I've now built my family and I just want to be at home.
Yeah.
And so I know that I know I have a lot of my audience are also in corporate and wanting to step into entrepreneurship. I think the real takeout from what we're both saying on this is work smart, not hard.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, like, find the easy route forward, whatever that looks like for you, you know, because who wants to work hard?
Well, that's it. And who wants to sacrifice, you know, who wants to sacrifice those beautiful bits of life for work or business? Like, you do get to have it all, but it's just finding how the jigsaw fits together for you, like how that feels good for you. And I remember talking to you when we did your media buy and we first started working together from a PR perspective, talking to you about that exact experience and what made you go freelance and set up your first company. And like, it was all to do with Oliver, wasn't it? It was all to do with, you know, the little boy that you just basically felt like you didn't see. And a lot
I missed his first birthday. I missed his first birthday because I was in a meeting. I got sent a video of him taking his first step. You know, that was really tough. Like, when I think back to it now, I can actually like burst into tears. That was really tough.
Yeah.
Really tough.
Yeah, it's hard. And I bet there's a lot of women out there who have, you know, either similar sacrifices or, you know, something that they have missed out on because of being in a corporate job or being tied to their business. Like, I know that I have pulled some late nights and I've missed dinners with friends, and I've, you know, I have this very strong ethos around not burning out, you know, having been there and got bad. Like, that is something I never want to do again. But sometimes you do have to check yourself because you fall into this, like, it's the corporate hangover, isn't it? Right. Where you feel like you just have to do more and more and more. And the thing with business, and what I have had to work really hard to accept over the years, is that the to-do list will never be done, because the entrepreneurial way is to always be looking at the next thing. So you've always got something that you're excited about. You've always got something that you're already moved on from the present and you're looking at the future. So I think, you know, with mums especially, and obviously I haven't entered that era yet, I'm sort of in the prep stage for it, but, you know, from seeing like mum friends and having clients who are mums, like, it's all about kind of, okay, how can you find your harmony? How can you find your balance? And what needs to shift in order for you to still feel good and not burn out and for business to grow or be what you want it to be, because some people don't want to create, $1 million businesses. Some people want to just replace their corporate salary. Some people want to work 2 days a week. Like, everyone's version of success is very different and unique to them. So I think getting really clear on that and then building backwards and structuring your business so that it supports your life instead of trying to shoehorn your life into being able to do business all the time is a really powerful mindset shift, and one that I just think is inevitable if you've got kids or you're wanting to have a family. It's certainly something that I have had to really work on my mindset over the last couple of years around, the business was my first baby, really. 6 years. The business is 6 this month.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, the business is 6 this month. So it was my first baby. Like, the business and the dog came together because it was when I was going to be at home after corporate. So they're like my first children. And it's like shifting the mindset away from the emotional connection to being there for them, not necessarily the dog, because he is literally still my fur baby, but the business being my first child. Actually, now that needs to take a second priority to this family that I want to build. And it doesn't mean it's less important. It just means that how I structure things and how my time is and what the business looks like from a delivery point of view has to change. And that is, I think so many women will resonate with that, because you have to find balance. You have to.
You have to find balance. And like I always say when I'm working with anybody on strategy and structure of their business, is number one thing is capacity.
Yeah.
There's only 24 hours in every day, and we all have the same 24 hours. It's how we choose to spend it. And so the whole point is, it is a choice. We get to spend that time doing whatever we want to do, in which case, once you really accept the fact that, okay, it's 24 hours a day, it's 7 days a week, none of that is a surprise to me. Now it's about how I create that. How do I mold the clay so that it suits me, not drags me along behind it? And that's a lot of what we've done together, isn't it? We've looked
100%.
at, the delivery of the business. We've looked at the capacity that you've got to play with and how you want to divide that into the different pieces of your life. So if anybody's listening to this and you're thinking, just tell me what I would need to change in order to run my business in half the time. I mean, critically, it's the business model, isn't it, that
100%.
we've done the most work on.
Yeah. I mean, it's completely changed, hasn't it? That's you're exactly right. And it's been looking at, okay, what feels good? Like, that's been a big part of it. What do you actually want to do? What do I actually want to deliver in the business? What is the easiest route for the client journey? How can people move through the pathway through the business? What is going to make money? Like, what in the business is actually going to make money, and what is just a noisy program that is there, or a noisy offer that is just something else on the list? Because it's very easy, again, this is such an entrepreneurial trait, it's very easy to want to do everything right now and to have 50 offers because you're so excited about all of them and they all have legs, and you're like, oh my gosh, well, I could do this and I could do this and I could offer these things. I'm basically talking about myself, aren't I? So it's like burning it all down, starting again with a very core structure of these are your core offers, and then these other handful of things can get sprinkled around and you can switch them on and off, and they can be there for a reason or a season, or you can get rid of them. So we looked at what was working in the business, what wasn't working in the business, what felt good, what didn't feel so good, what had great profit margins, what was just a money drain. We looked at all of those, the things that people don't talk about so much online because it's the unsexy stuff. I talk about this with my my coaching clients all the time, like the planning, the cash flow, the business foundations. They are the most important things for scalability and growth. But people don't want to talk about that. They just want to talk about the 50 inquiries they got from Instagram yesterday.
Absolutely. And I also think that there's a misconception that when you get a business coach or a business mentor, they're going to give you all these extra things to do. Yeah. And I think our journey's been the total opposite.
Oh my God, yeah.
I want to do this and I want to do this. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
Let's do less.
It's been more about simplification, streamlining, like you say, focusing on what works, what feels good, what feels aligned, what is most suited to your audience, what they need right now. And obviously, how much money do you want to make, and how can we make that in the easiest
100%
possible way?
Yeah, I feel like ease and simplicity sort of are the two words that really represent our journey together, because that's what I needed and wanted in order to, successfully be pregnant and have a baby. And it's what you've really helped me to do. And it's so powerful to have someone else's view on your business. Like, I mean, obviously we're friends as well, so you do have an emotional connection to me, but it's a little bit more objective when it's someone else looking at your business, especially because you have a child already. So you know what, and you've done, he's Oliver's 10 now, isn't he? So you've done like that first 10 years. So your experience and knowledge and wisdom of what that journey looks like, especially having, had your own businesses at the same time, is just absolutely, it was invaluable to me, because you can see things that I can't see and predict things that I wouldn't even have thought about yet. So it's like, that is the most powerful thing, because so often we want to overcomplicate things and we want to stay stuck in the back end of our businesses, right? Because it feels easy to fiddle with all of the things and do the stuff, right? So actually just simplifying everything, stripping everything back, and doing exactly the things you've just said are actually going to help you to go further, faster, and make more money and feel better and have more free time, because you're not going to be stuck in this constant juggle mentality of having so many open loops in your head. Like right now, I have, dare I say it, nothing to do in the back end of the business right now, because it's all set up. I know, success, right? Because we've got the core offer suite sorted. We know that we've got the top end agency that the team are going to take care of while I'm on maternity. We know that we've got the PR membership that is going to sit there, and I've got an amazing journalist and PR expert covering it for me while I'm on maternity, who I really trust. We know that my mastermind is brilliant and set up and is pausing for my maternity leave with a plan in place to then bring it back when I come back. We know that we've built the online shop, which is full of amazing products that people can still buy and do self-study courses and get incredible results, because we've tested them in the last couple of years by running them as live programs. We know we've got a funnel that is going to really help people and bring people in and then point them into the right places, so that then money can still be made and people can still be helped even while I'm off. So it's taken a while to get here, and more because of me and my resistance to simplifying things mainly. But now that we've done it, I honestly feel like I can just sit back and be like, I am ready. I feel ready, and I feel like I'm in such a good place with it. And that is all down to working with you, because I wouldn't have been able to do this on my own. So it's such a nice place to be.
I'm just so proud of you, for everything that you've achieved. And obviously you've been running a successful business at the same time as we've been remodeling it in the background. Mm-hmm. So we've had all these different tracks that we're running on.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm just so proud of you. I really feel like if anybody was going to be wanting to burst in that delivery suite and cheer you on, it's going to be me.
I'll tell Tom. We've got another birth partner.
If he gets cold feet and he feels like he's not up for it, I'm straight in there.
She's there. I'll video call you.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the bit that you obviously haven't done yet is the bit where baby is 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months old, mm-hmm. and the business is there and thriving, and there'll be people, I think, who are listening to this who are maybe in that period, because maybe you're out pushing a pram with your earpods in, listening to a podcast. I can totally imagine that's a thing.
Oh, I'll definitely be doing that.
The things that obviously, if I was going to go back and have Oliver all over again now with my business, I could think of a whole long list, which I will document for you, of all of the things that I would do to fit the business and mum life together. So I would stack the tasks so that, yes, you've got to fold baby grows once a week, or 3 times a week, depending on how big your washing machine is. But you can also be doing other things at the same time. yes, baby's going to nap at, 4, 5, 6 different points during the day. What can you be doing and how can you be building flex into
Mm-hmm.
your time, into your day? I'd be thinking about all these different ways that you can use the time that you've got, but fundamentally, the most important thing that will allow that to happen is the flexibility that we've built
Yeah.
in the business. It's not a rigid, you've got to be here, you've got to do that, you've got to do it like this. Like building flex so that you don't feel the pressure
Yeah.
of having to be on Zoom or like having to do all these like tricky things that would make anybody feel burnt out, like I honestly, I will write you that list
Thank
because
you.
I could think of loads of things that I would do while the bottles are steaming and while the ironing's being done, all of that,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
that'll
And
be
I
my
think,
little gift to you.
thank you. That's amazing. And I think what I saw, particularly just after COVID, actually, and I think this has been a bit of a shift in society, perhaps, on the back of it. I had a lot of clients with children coming to me in the lockdowns and who were starting businesses or just post-COVID, whether they'd been furloughed or made redundant or actually just like realized that they didn't want that life anymore. Excuse me, but they already had children. So like they were either like starting a complete new business, or if it's people that have businesses, like actually thinking about restructuring slightly. So what we've done, I think we've done this in a really sensible, strategic way, right? Because we've done it before I've had a baby. So we're set up then for the next period. But actually, I also think a lot of people don't necessarily, like I didn't really know that. I'm just a very organized, planning loving person. So, and for personal circumstances, knew that I needed to make changes. But actually, I think there's probably a lot of people out there who don't necessarily realize how intense perhaps both can be. So they maybe get to a point where then they're on the brink of burnout, or they're on the point of giving up and going back to work, or all of these kind of different scenarios. And it's probably really important for us to say, like, don't give up. Like, there is another way. It can be done, and you can simplify and restructure. And your business is yours, and like one of your favorite phrases, like, you get to set the rules, you get to choose what you do. So if you're struggling, or if you're finding it a bit much, or like you're time poor because you haven't got enough childcare, and then you're in that battle space between like time and money, which is most people's biggest struggle, right? You've probably got one of more or the other. From what I hear from friends, they're the two most limited resources when you have a
Yeah,
young child. So there's always a way forward, is what I'm trying to say. There's always a route out. It's just about, you've got to be really, really clear on what you want to achieve. Like, what do you want out of life? What does your version of success look like? And remember to build everything together, as opposed to it being like, this is what my version of business success looks like, this is what my version of life success looks like, and trying to build them separately. Actually, like you've said, we all have 24 hours in a day. Some have more help than others in those 24 hours, but let's work on the the normal person who doesn't have a live-in nanny or anything like that. You have to build those two things together. The version of success and the vision of success has to take into account the two working in tandem, as opposed to them butting heads and working against each other, because that's where that frustration comes from. And no matter where you are in your journey, and I'm saying this obviously, like I said before, I have the baby, but I do feel like wherever you are in your journey, you can always make shifts that will help you to feel less burnt out, to navigate any challenges, to be able to create that vision of success that you have, and for everything to feed into each other, as opposed to it being very separate, because I think that's where you run into challenges and problems.
Yeah, oh, I completely agree. And I think when we do this right and it feels good, we get to set the best example
Yeah.
for our children. We get to be the role models. Like, bless Oliver. Like, he came home from school the other day and said he'd been chosen to be a mentor
Oh,
with the younger boys and girls in like year 6 who are like 3 or 4 years younger than him. And he'd been chosen to be a mentor, and they've given him this mentoring training where they've said, when one of the younger children asks you a question, don't give them the answer them with a question and help them to self-seek and self-solve their like problems. So teaching him how to coach. And he came home and went, Mummy, they taught me how to do what you do. And I was like, oh, so cute. And he actually wants to run a business, you know.
That's
So
so cute.
I think we get to be role models. We get to set the best examples. And what I know is if I'd have carried on in that corporate job rather than leave and, you know, build a business and do what I did, I don't think I would have, well, I don't know what would have happened to me, if I'm honest, because I would have not enjoyed being a mum at all, and I would have resented my job. I probably would have ended up being fired because I would have resented my job that much that I wouldn't have performed well. Whereas, as it happened, I was able to, you know, get out of that job in a nice, easy way. But yeah, we get to be role models. We get to show our children that we get to design our lives.
And isn't that amazing? Like, what an opportunity we have. If you think back to, like, you know, we won't get on our soapboxes too much, but like, you know, women 50 years ago, 100 years ago, like the opportunities that we have now are just so incredible and limitless. And to be able to inspire the next generation to know that anything is possible, like they can make anything happen for themselves. Like that is just, it's so incredible, isn't it? And so motivating. But we have to be the living example of what we want them to feel like. You know, how many people grew up in households where they barely saw dad, or, you know, because he was working all the time, or, you know, money was always tight because, and you worked hard for money. Like you got paid if you worked hard. So if you worked harder, you got paid more. And I'm not against hard work. I'm not about hustle culture, but I think working hard is a really great, quality to have, being diligent, you know, those kind of things. But it's different. It's a different mentality around working hard to having to work hard in order to get rewarded. Like that's a very different kind of mindset. So I think we've just got so much opportunity now, and there's so much possibility that it's almost like, why wouldn't you want to do that, to inspire your children and to show them that they can be, do and have anything they want if they set themselves up and they set their lives up in the right way, and they have the right mindset and they use the right tools. You know, they build their toolkit, and it's just, it's so exciting, isn't it, to be a part of this era of like women who get to do that.
Absolutely. I think one really good thing that all mums to be could do to get themselves really like ready for what it's going to be like having a young child under 2 and having to do like sales and marketing, which maybe at the moment feels like it dominates the whole week, is to just like try, and you must absolutely do this, just try to create content in the fastest, easiest way. Just challenge yourself to do it, because right now there'll be people that are like, oh, it takes me a whole day sat on Canva, I create all these graphics and it feels really hard. But actually, if you just made your content be like one 1-minute reel a day for 5 days, that's 5 minutes of reels. And if you've got a young child and you just want to do your hair and makeup on 1 day a week, and in that 1 day record 5 reels that add up to 5 minutes, that could be as easy as content gets to be.
Yeah.
But I think right now, where we've got more time, we allow it to fill the time. But it doesn't have to fill the time. We could do it super quick.
Yeah.
So like challenge yourself to do that. I'd love everybody to challenge themselves to do that.
Yeah, I love that. Things take as long as we allow them to take, right? Like if you give yourself 2 hours, something will take 2 hours. Like, what do they say? There's a really famous phrase, like, if you want something done, ask a busy woman. Like that's because it just get done, isn't it? And I completely agree with you there. You know, making things easy, repurposing, you know, thinking about that. And that actually really kind of ties in with the PR message as well, because what I often see is, and I remember when I first started this business, spending all day like creating a different post for Instagram, Twitter, as was Facebook and LinkedIn. And literally like all day, every day, just thinking of 4 different posts for 4 different platforms, taking thousands of pictures of flat lays, like refusing to go on. Honestly, I look back and I think, oh my God, like madness. But like, I completely agree with you. Make it easy. And a really great way to do that is like to use PR, because what you are creating there is what I like to call anchor content. So you're creating that more long form content. You're creating ideas to pitch, to pitch to the press. So whether that's tied around key dates or whether that's tied around your subject matter, and creating that bigger, longer form content. And if you're writing a pitch or an article or you're being interviewed for something, you're going to end up with a really juicy piece of content there that you can break into multiple social posts. You can turn into a blog or multiple blogs. You can use to email your email list with multiple emails. Like, it's that longer form content. And like, this is a really great example. Podcasting is a fantastic PR tool. Being a podcast guest, being a podcast host, guest speaking, there's so much that falls under the PR remit that enables you to create bigger, longer form content that you can then break down into smaller bits, and that makes your life a billion times easier, right? You can even use AI, like plug a pitch or an article that you've written into an AI tool and ask it to create you 12 social posts and 4 emails. Like, boom, done.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. What a great piece of advice. If you're listening to this and you don't have a notepad, like, find somewhere to make a note of that, because that is a genius piece of advice.
Thank you.
Really good. Yeah, really, really good.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
Will you do me a favor, and when you have had baby and you feel like you want to, will you come back and do an episode with me on PR?
Absolutely. I would love to do that. Yes, 100%. This is my favorite thing to do. And actually, like, just kind of maybe to round off a little bit, like, if you are expecting and you're, looking at taking some maternity leave, or if you're juggling kids and business and all of those things, like, use strategic visibility to make your life easier. Like, use the content system that Rach has mentioned, use the tips that I've just shared, and really double down on what it is you want to be known for. So that is what I have gone all in on in the last few years. Like, what do I want to be known for? It's the question I ask all of my clients, that like every single one of them gets the fear when I ask them. They're like, I don't know. And I'm like, you do know, but no one's ever asked you that question in that way. But when you get really clear on what it is you want to be known for, and you focus on talking about your superpower areas, I love to call them that, like your superpower topics, your areas of expertise, and you stop being swayed by all of this noise online and thinking that you've got to talk about this because you're seeing everyone else talking about this, and you've got to be doing this because everyone else is doing this. Like, when you actually just stay in your lane and really focus on showing up in your zone of genius and harness like the tools like PR and video and guest speaking and all of these things, like, that is how you grow your business with ease. That is how, when you've got your back end sorted, when you've got your offer suite sorted, when you've got your foundations in place, like we've talked about, Rachel, what we've done together, then when you employ this really strategic approach to visibility, that is when people are going to talk about you when you're not in the room. Like, that is when you're going to get referrals coming in. That's when you're going to get asked to speak on stages. That's when you're going to get the press approaching you. And that is when everything is going to feel easy. And that is how you make money while you sleep. So combining those two things, and that's when as well sales gets easier, because actually people are coming to you pre-qualified because they've already seen you somewhere. They already trust you. They already know you. So, think about, how can you make your life easier? Strategic visibility, really solid business foundations. Like, they're the two key things I feel that then enable you to grow and scale a business while, having a baby, having children, taking maternity leave. Make sure that you've got something that someone can buy while you're having a break. Like, if you don't want to work full time because you've got kids, make sure you've got something for them to buy that doesn't need you to be there. Like, it's kind of all of these really simple things, but that you just don't think about them, do you, until you're in the moment and you need someone else to tell you them.
Absolutely. Well, on the subject of have things to buy, whilst you are on maternity having your break, you've got things for people to buy. So where can people get hold of you? Where can people, look at your PR tools and your visibility resources? How can they get those?
Amazing. Yes. So we have just opened our brand new online shop, which is absolutely jam-packed with like masterclasses and courses and mini courses and template bundles. So everything that you could possibly need is in there, and a huge range of price points. So if you want to get cracking with PR, like that is the best place to start and grab something. We also have our PR membership, which is actually got my proven PR accelerator Pitchcraft as a bonus. So that is all of those resources that you'll find in the online shop. You get all of them as a bonus resource vault in the PR membership, which is the Superstar PR Collective. So you can come and join that, because that is running while I am off. I have a wonderful friend who is a journalist and PR expert running that for me. So that is going to continue and is going to be incredible for any woman who wants to get featured in the press. But the best place to start is to go and grab my ultimate press success checklist, which is completely free and will help you to get started. So if you want to head to garnetpr.com/PR checklist, you can go and grab that now for free. And that will give you all of the gold that you will need to get started.
Amazing. If you ping me that link, I will put that in our show notes so that people can just drop below the podcast and go and click on that and go and get themselves that PR checklist. Because when you're doing anything that you've not done before, having a proven checklist to follow just makes life so much easier. So thank you for sharing that with our listeners.
You are very welcome. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me to. It was lovely. I'm super excited. And, you know, if this episode can help even just one mum to be or mum who's in business in the throes of the juggle to, you know there is a better way, to know there is an easier way, to take action on, you know, what support does she need? What resources does she need? To maybe come and join one of your programs and get her business sorted out, you know? Like if this can help even just one person, then it's been so worth it, hasn't it? And there is another way. You get to have it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. We want it all. We are ready for it all. And this is, you know, a lot of what we've shared is exactly how to make that happen. So thank you for being so generous with your time to be here with us and give us some really great tips. The airing date of this show will be probably in the next few weeks. So it'll be one of the first episodes that we put out to our listeners. So yeah, thank you for being here with us. And I will see you when you come back and do an episode dedicated to PR for us.
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much. It's been such a joy. And thank you for all of the help, because I wouldn't be in this position if I hadn't worked with you, Rach. So if anyone is thinking about working with Rach, just do it. You will not regret it.
Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you. Bye, everyone.